This was kind of difficult going live. And you know what? Another thing, I would rather use my microphone, which should be charged up. I'm sorry for all of the extra chatter. And I wanted to come with some commentary about Psychic Danielle Johnson. By the way, rest in peace. You know what? Hold on. Let me do a quick sound check. All right, testing, 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 testing. Okay, I should be good. Okay, I should be. Okay, so I want to do a little bit of commentary on Danielle Johnson, who, if y'all don't remember who Danielle Johnson is, she is the psychic healer who unfortunately, um, due to a spiritual as well as mental psychosis, she actually murdered her baby's father, and then her 9-month old baby girl, and seriously injured her 9-year-old child, and then rammed her car into a tree, um, on April the 8th of 2024. And so I actually ran into this story again on the Misery Machine channel. And, I don't know what those people's spiritual beliefs are. Um, I watch that channel every once in a while because they talk about, people that harm children, so I support their channel in that way. And they were, just like a lot of other people, skeptics, and but I did ask a couple of questions of my spirit guides because I always wondered, what was going on with her at the time, actually, though. And I might look that up during this live. I don't want to be here that long because it's 2:30 in the morning and I am actually tired. But I wanted to come and reveal some information that I got about it. So first of all, I did ask, was what she did the result of a curse? And I always like to ask that question because it gives me personally a lot of insight. And the answer was no. Although I do see where there were people that were attempting to curse her, she did have a lot of spiritual protection. I'm sure that there's a lot of uh, competitors out there of hers that would love to believe that they put a death curse on her and got rid of her because that's what authentic healers and psychics do, right? We try to unalive our competition because they're somehow a threat to us. Yeah. Anyway, um, I'll put her picture up as the thumbnail. Very beautiful young lady. I wanted to know what her zodiac sign was, but unfortunately, when I looked it up on the internet, I do a lot of research. I couldn't find her date of birth. So that's kind of strange. But anyway, um, there were people definitely hurling curses at her, but that's not why she did what she did, which was basically she uh like went into a downward spiral, and spirit did reveal to me why she went into a downward spiral. So no to the curse. There was no curse on her. In fact, just looking at this reading, she is in very good hands in spite of what she did. More than likely, she did go through like a punishment process in the afterlife, but uh, in that because it's been like what 2 years, almost yeah, over 2 years since this happened. Now, the reason why she did what she did is due to mental illness. Coincidentally, her mental illness was caused by negative entities and spirits. Okay. So, the reason why I know that it was mental illness is because of two of the main markers that I look for when I'm looking for mental illness is either going to be the sun card inverted, the moon card inverted, the star card inverted, and especially the strength card inverted. So she did have some mental illnesses that she probably should have been seeking, not probably, she should have been seeking assistance for those issues. Okay. However, I I see and I have seen quite a bit of clients, and the ones that need psychological help, I always encourage them to do so. However, what I will tell you is that um her psychological problems was caused by negative entities, but it was caused by her being molested as a child. Now, I didn't really appreciate Misery Machine, Yergi and the guy, kind of the way that they were dismissive of her. She did do some egregious crap, which I could see why. So I forgive them. I still love them. Even though they need to stop discounting it because it looks like to me Yergi could use some spiritual help. Okay, personally, just looking at her. I don't know the other guy's name, but I like them. Okay, so I have nothing against them. She was molested as a child. She was molested. Okay. You can see it right here. And child molestation does lead to negative entity attachments. Okay. In particular, incubis and succubis and all sorts of different types of entities can attach to you out of rape, out of sexual assault, out of molestation. So you can definitely see those entities that were attached to her in this reading. I can see it clearly that it was definitely mental illness. It was in, and she needed guidance. She needed help. She needed support. First of all, I don't recommend anybody coming out in social media. There's a lot of racism, there's a lot of sexism, there's a lot of evil out there, right? I did confirm, by the way, that Danielle Johnson was an authentic psychic and healer. Okay. So I see her as one of my own and confirmed it with spirit, okay, that she was authentic. She was not fake. Okay. She was misguided and she was not ready. And she had protection, but you got to go beyond protection. And then also, it would really, really be good to be able to know what zodiac sign she was. I'm going to try to look that up and find that, but I do believe that she may have been a water sign. I'm kind of picking up on possible Pisces. Okay. I'm going to look it up again to see if I can find this young lady's date of birth real quick. There's got to be record of her exact date of birth. Uh, February the 28th of 1969. No, no, that's not her. That's somebody else. She was 34 years old. Doesn't say when her date of birth was. Nope, that's Danielle Agnew. That was born February the 28th. Hold on. Okay. I can't find her date of birth. Darn it. Yeah, I can't find it. She was definitely mentally ill though, and it was due to unresolved sexual trauma from an early age that she needed to deal with. But then also, would I recommend Reiki for something like that? Not at first. Like she would have needed some hardcore cleansing and just healing. She's a healer that needed to be healed. She's a wounded healer, right? She had bad spirit attachments, and Reiki ain't gonna get rid of bad spirit attachments. It's not. You're gonna need some good old fashioned necromancy, and you're gonna need some good old fashioned witchery to get rid of that. Out in social media, I cannot stand people that go around and try to make it seem like witchcraft is bitchy, witchcraft is fucking prostitution, and witches just run around here and like start trouble and act goofy. No, that's not what we do. Like this girl needed guidance. She was a great I think that she more than likely was a great or could have potentially been a awesome healer, right? And I do believe that her family came from a long line of shamans. It doesn't matter if she knew her father or not. She knew his name and she knew how to research her family. So, regardless, okay, she didn't know him, she didn't meet him, but she knew who he was. So it was in her bloodline, definitely. So, but she was an authentic psychic. I got a yes answer on that. She was authentic. She was not fake, but she had problems. She had a lot of problems emotionally and mentally. And I always tell people that when I see people attacking, I see it days, weeks, sometimes even months in advance. Months in advance. Like I will see attacks coming at me with dates and times. And I can even see like the time of the year that it is. That's why I wanted to get back to Kansas City because I like to be able to distinguish like, is this happening in the winter or is this happening in the fall or is this, y'all know what I mean? So I want to know now about this vision that she was having. She got really, really paranoid. It's going great. Thank you, William Bailey. She got really, really paranoid and went off the deep end um, on April the 8th, 2024, because of the eclipse. Can y'all tell me tell me more about what that was about? What was that about? Why did she do that? What was she seeing? What was she seeing? Okay. Oh, she was definitely seeing something, but because of the delusions, it was difficult for her to process it. Yeah. Now, was she seeing something from the past? Because remember, when you're psychic, you have to determine whether or not you're looking at the past life, or the future. Was she seeing something in the past? Yes or no? Let's rule that out. No, she was definitely seeing something in the future. And okay, well, we've already passed by April the 8th of this year. Let's see what was happening on April the 8th. Something was going on. Major international conflict occurred with Iranian strikes targeting Arab nations despite a ceasefire, while U.S. officials declared Operation Epic Fury a success. Domestically, it is Wednesday, day 98 of the year, featuring observances like National Empanada Day, Zoo Lovers Day, and International Romani Day. So there was that day of this year was pretty bad. However, she was definitely seeing something. It's been stuff happening all month. Like it's like it's been crap happening a lot. Would that be what she saw though? Or just something that involved, was she seeing political stuff? Is that what Danielle Johnson was seeing? Yes or no? Yeah, yeah, she was. Um, she was seeing it more so in advance though. Was Danielle Johnson seeing the apocalypse? Was she really seeing that coming up in the future? Or was she seeing like this whole war that we have going on right now? Yes or no? Yep, 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 yep. She was seeing it. Oh, poor thing. And what was going on? Like something made her like, okay, so okay, let me just drift back a little bit to you guys, okay? I am not excusing anything that she did because what she did was horrible. What she did was awful. She literally sped down the highway and threw a 9-month old baby out of a moving vehicle, right? She did. So, right now, what I'm doing is I am separating all of this information and just looking at what caused this. I'm just looking at the information because whatever it was, it freaked her out. And I feel so horrible for the baby father that was murdered, the baby that was murdered, and then she rammed herself into a freaking pole or a tree. Okay. Do you feel like she opened up doorways that she was not ready for? Yes or no? Yeah. Yep. She did. She opened up doorways that she wasn't ready for. Um, and her 9-year-old daughter did survive it, and It's absolutely horrific. But she definitely was. That's why I said when it, okay. So the psychic and astrology community and the witchy community, we're not really into conspiracies and stuff like that. Like conspiracy theories, like I know that I'm not like, I'm just not. And I'm not into like any kind of fear mongering. If there's a threat, then there are witches all over this world that know how to deal with threats, especially planetary threats. So that's where she started to gear towards. However, the post that she put up definitely did foretell a lot of what she saw, because there have been several threats of nuclear activity since then. So while she was horrible, like absolutely horrible, unforgivable what she did, absolutely disgusting what she did, she still was like telling the truth. And y'all know, I do believe that they have tried to set off those bombs. I do. I believe that they have, and I believe that they cannot. Like I've got far out views of that. Y'all know how I am, okay? But she freaked out. The moon card inverted. That's, yeah. The moon card and the strength card together, both inverted. Ooh, my goodness. So she was definitely foretelling something that she was seeing. And um but was it worth what she did? No, it wasn't. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I think that the emotional issues that she was dealing with, like her mental and her emotional, was like a wreck. And so let that be a cautionary tale. I'm not saying that people that come out here and do their readings, like you're going to be susceptible to demonic possession and you're going to do crazy things to your loved ones. No, I'm not saying that, but I do think that it's important to have guidance, and coming into the spiritual community, that's going to be rare for anybody to help others like that. It's out there, but it's going to be rare, because what you're going to find is a big pool of sharks. You're not going to find anybody that is going to authentically guide other psychics. They're just not going to do it, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous for them to do that, but because you can't help everybody, like that doesn't make any sense when there's people out here that are trying to shut down other psychics or attack them. That's stupid. Like there's so many people that could use our help and our assistance. How are you helping? How are you helping? Like that's, to me, that is so dumb when I see that happen. But it happened to me. But but yeah. So it's a lot of sharks out here. So let that be a cautionary tale if you are out here and you don't have the proper guidance. And honestly, nothing excuses what she did. It just didn't. As a mother, as a grandmother, like no freaking way, like no freaking way would I ever even think of some crazy crap like that. Like, no. But I do think that I am not her, so I'm not walking in her shoes. So I can't really judge her. I can only judge me and how I am. You know what I'm saying? Her, on the other hand, something. that she was seeing. Maybe there was a ritual that was going on that day. Let me look up what was going on that day. April the 8th of 2024. That's a lot of very powerful numbers. Let me look up April the 8th of 2024. Hello, Australia. Hello. Um, oh, my phone did like a little graphic of the eclipse. Okay. And she was in California. She wasn't even in the path of the eclipse. Not that that matters. Let's see here. By the way, that eclipse was absolutely amazing. It was a lot going on though. A lot went on that year. There's a lot that went on that year. Um yeah, I don't see where anything. Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of stuff going on. I literally just put in April 8th of 2024 and it automatically brought up solar eclipse. Just all about the eclipse that day. So, you know, yeah, that's pretty much it. It just brings up the eclipse, the solar eclipse from that day. So, as far as let me put in world news. World news. If it was anything happening that day. Because trust me, I can recognize ritual. And a lot of that stuff be ritualistic. Uh, okay. So we had the eclipse, which dominated the obviously because it was a rare celestial event. Internationally, Israel withdrew more troops from southern Gaza, and in the U.S., major headlines included abortion politics, the Baltimore Bridge cleanup, and an engine cover failure on a Southwest flight. Okay. So to get into detail, President Trump announced plans to share his stance on abortion while a man was arrested for setting a fire outside Senator Bernie Sanders' Vermont office. There was a Russia-Ukraine conflict, the battle for Shasivo, however you pronounce that, continued amidst the ongoing war, along with persistent humanitarian impacts in Sudan. Security concerns continue to dominate in the Middle East, while diplomatic efforts continue between the U.S. and Japan. Yeah, and I'm not gonna stay here too much longer, guys, because it's late and I've got to go. But what I was gonna say is that there was a lot going on. That it's been a lot going on every single day, and I think that Danielle was an example of a person that emotionally and mentally could not handle everything. Because even if you don't watch the news, if you're not protecting yourself with all of this war going on, it's just in the air. It's just and healers are more than likely always very empathic. And it scares some people. It does, especially depending on, now I do know that she was practicing witchcraft and spells and things of that nature. Um, but you gotta know that you better be protecting yourself from all of this warfare flying back and forth. Okay. Yeah. That it's been nothing but bombs and bombings like for the past 3 years now. It's been going on, and that is floating around in the air. It doesn't matter if they're in another continent or country. We're still on the same earth. And so you got to know how to protect yourself. You do. Because, that's a lot of craziness. That's a lot of crazy energy. That's a lot of evil. A lot of evil. Again, not discounting what she did, but I just kind of wanted to come and share that with you all. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that y'all subscribe to my Witches Broom channel. You guys can find links to some new videos that I did on succubi and incubi on the community wall post. But in the meantime, if you could hype this video and give it a thumbs up and subscribe, I appreciate it because I still do live streams and some videos from this channel. Okay. All right, guys. See you guys later. Rest in peace to, Danielle Johnson, the baby daddy, the baby, and I'll see y'all later. Okay.